going to give you permission to record it. There's like a few people that I'm actually willing to talk to about it. Only just because the amount of people that were invested in this was absolutely nuts, first of all. Second of all, there's a lot of people that deserve answers. I haven't even had a chance to really fully cover my entire family either. So that's like the next shitty part of it, you know.
Right.
So, you know, I appreciate your attempt to help the situation. I didn't get a chance to watch the first one because there were just so many videos that were made with perspectives and speculations and lies.
Right.
I was only able to watch a few, and the only real reason why I caught this one is because I seen one of my daughters in the comments. So I was like, all right, let me see what this one's about. Now, how long is your lunch?
I have an hour, thankfully.
Okay, me too. Because I've been needing a break. So, from the start of everything, just to kind of give you a breakdown of where I feel like there were some wrong information provided to the public. I understand now fully that there are certain niches that are on social media that are conspiracy theory pages. Not saying that yours is, but it's opening up the opportunity to have conversation about certain issues. However, the biggest problem in this situation is that a lot of the information is inaccurate. Now, that could be on part of my own. That could be on part of, you know, the boyfriend. That could be on part of the lack of, you know, Zailey not saying anything. There's a lot of different moving parts. But I'll be here to go ahead and clarify whatever is needed. So I'm not sure if you have some questions that you want to ask first, or if you just want me to tell you where I feel like you were wrong at.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You could tell me where you thought I went wrong at.
All right. So outside of an opinion, I mean, that's the thing, right? Lying and saying that I knew she was safe. I never knew that Zailey was safe to begin with. So when I found out that Zailey was missing, just to kind of clarify the date, on January the 4th, Zailey sent me a text message. It was just a brief, you know, conversation. I ended up posting it on Facebook, but I deleted that too because I don't need to exploit my child or the situation any further. So when I made the first video, I made a mistake because I was frantic. This is what happens when you're frantically trying to figure out how to find your kid, right? Or your adult dog, because she is definitely not no kid. So I made a mistake and put the 4th in the initial TikTok video. Was the last time that I spoke with her, but the last time that I verbally had a conversation with her was on the 12th of January, right? So at that point in time, that's when, you know, I was informed by Zailey that she was in Tijuana, Mexico. She didn't sound like she was herself, and so on and so forth, right? So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I really don't know what to do with this situation because I've continually tried to help Zailey over the years. She's been doing this since she graduated high school. I'm not the only person in the family that's literally tried everything. And that's where I want to start this conversation at, is to honor the situation and my family first and foremost, because I do have other kids. I do have other family members that have gone through a hell of a time trying to digest the entire situation. This is what addiction looks like. This is not what a dysfunctional family looks like, because that is something that you insinuated. Zailey does not come from a dysfunctional family, not by the original definition of it. However, we all have problems. I'm sure you have a family that's not perfect. I'm sure everyone delivering content in any way, shape, or form has a dysfunctional family. But the root of this issue is addiction. Okay?
Yeah.
So if we're going to have a conversation about it, we have to have a realistic conversation. Now, normally as a mom, a loving mom, okay, a very protective mom, that does come off real spicy sometimes. I didn't want to put my daughter's information all over social media, but in the event that she really was missing like I thought she could have been, people need to know what kind of person that they're dealing with. I can't sit here and present it and say, hey, well, you know what? She's perfectly fine. It's all daisies. And, you know, she's a perfect child. I have never said that in any of my kids' lives, ever, because that's not reality. I know I'm not perfect to my own mother, so I'm not about to lie to nobody else. So we have to stay focused on the bigger issue, which is, you know, her mental health and the addiction part of it. The only reason why I left out specific details initially was to try to protect my family And really to try to protect her, because it is embarrassing as hell to be like, dang, my mom is out here like telling everybody you do blah, blah. But if you really sit back and think about it, like everybody has said, her social media is still up, which she doesn't use. But her social media, it's already there. So it's not like I can just go log into her social media accounts and delete everything that she's ever said, because she already put it out there.
Right.
Not that I was proud of that, but hell, my mom's not proud of some of the things that I posted on social media in the past. So the way that the internet was so quick to go and find that information and turn her into somebody else, I'm not saying that she's not who I feel that she is, but they took the information and they flipped it. Zailey hasn't used her social media since about 2020. Because that's when she decided to not use social media for that reason, because she just wasn't feeling it. So that's why the information is still there, whether she logs into it or not. I'm not really sure what she does with her social media. I know that she communicated with me from her Instagram account on DM, because if her phone was off, that's how she was able to communicate if she had Wi-Fi.
Right. And that was on the 12th?
Yeah, that's no. I didn't communicate with her by DM on the 12th. She actually texted me from her phone.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, and then I hadn't heard from her. But my other daughter received a text message from the boyfriend on the 14th of January, 2 days after Zailey contacted me. Now, Ricardo never reached out to me at all. Never, not one time did he reach out to me. I ended up getting screenshots that he was sending. He was posting in Facebook groups. He was sending to people that, were friends with her on Instagram. And then that's how the information was brought back to me. And then from that point, I went to his page and I was like, hey, like, you're spelling her name wrong. Like, why are you subbing me on this post? Like, who are you? Because I've never heard of this dude before in my life. So as far as it goes for all the social media, why it's been deleted, I don't have a reason to ever want to exploit my own children for clout. That is actually, I want to say my second or third page, but it's the second page that's gone viral. The first page that I had over 4 million views on one page. And I hadn't had that account very long. It was literally like a 2-3 month time span where I was able to continue to use the algorithm for what it's for my content that I had on the initial page. That has since been deleted. Okay, before this whole situation even took place. Shortly thereafter, I created another TikTok page because I wanted to focus on my jewelry, because I was already teaching people how to make jewelry on the first page, but it was a conflict with the algorithm because my content was comedy, but when I would go live, it would be some shenanigans and fuck shit. Okay?
Right, like reporting and stuff.
Yeah, and you're passing judgment on people. It was a real negative, nasty vibe, and I was like, damn, I don't even want to do this no more because it's taking me to a dark place, and I don't want to play this game no more. So I deleted it. All 20,000 plus followers, all of the views, I just deleted it. I was like, whatever. I knew that my hashtag still existed, but that didn't even make a difference to me anyway. The name is copyrighted, so I didn't really care that much. It's like, all right, if I have to start over, I got to start over. So from there, when I ended up finding out Zailey was missing, I literally was frantic because, and I'm going to be honest with you, because everybody has a problem with like how I deliver information. I never had the time to even think for 2 seconds, holy cow, my daughter is an addict. I knew that she struggled with addiction, but she never wanted to be 100% honest with me or anybody else in the family of what was really going on. So as everybody was ripping apart the story and trying to say that I'm scamming people and all this other shit, I had to accept the fact publicly, because I put it out there publicly that my child was an addict. And it wasn't that it was an embarrassment. It was shameful in the first place because I didn't know what to do. Now, I don't know how many other parents know what to do when your child is missing. But in your clip that you put up, you had said, you just hang up and call right back. That's actually incorrect. You don't hang up and call right back. In order for you to file a missing persons police report in Las Vegas, Nevada, you physically have to go into the department. I had a lot of people that were, passing judgment on me having to go to work that day. Well, hell, I have other kids that I have to continue to provide for and myself. So I have to go to work. There's no such thing as just taking time off just because it's a family emergency. And it's not that my job doesn't care about it. It's literally like, I don't have any PTO to even do that. because I had already used all of my PTO in September to go fly to California when Zailey almost passed away because she tried then. I flew out there, and then I turned back around and drove to go pick her up 2 days later when they said that she was stable to be released from the hospital. I brought her back to Las Vegas, Nevada. She stayed for a few days, and then she left yet again. So this isn't a new situation. Did I have a feeling in my mind that it could possibly be fake? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I said that, in the first interview that I took with Channel 8 News. Either $500 either screams desperate or deceased. Because who in their right mind is really out here asking for $500? Either you're desperate for a substance or she's already deceased and you just want to try to get some money. Okay? So either way it goes, I didn't have anything to do with it. Now the situation,
did you think that was low?
Oh, absolutely. I felt like it was extremely low, which is what caused red flags for me. Because I'm like, even in movies, they always ask for higher. Like, I've never experienced a situation like this. I'm side-eyeing it my damn self because I'm like, who do y'all think y'all playing with? That's why it kind of comes off in the TikTok video like, if we're doing this, we're doing this. Because if you're trying to scam me, whoever you are, you gonna not do that to me again, moving forward. Did I think that my daughter had anything to do with it? No, hell no, I didn't think she had nothing to do with it. But she did. Okay?
Wow.
Right. So while everybody's making these videos and they're like, oh, well, this mom and the girl's got daddy issues and this is that and the third. No, literally, I've been minding my own business, trying to go to work, trying to, establish some type of line of business that's going to give me money for me and my kids in their future. It has nothing to do with whatever they choose to do. She is a grown adult. This is why we continue to clash, because she's not going to follow instructions. So, and you just got to deal with that as a parent. It just happens. So, as far as it goes for that, the whole her coming out of the woodworks and it was like, ta-da, she's found. There's been people that took pictures from my Instagram that they try to make it seem like I said that she was found at home. I never said that, okay? I spoke with Zailey on the phone. She told me that she was in Mexico. She didn't want to come back to the United States per that conversation at that time. I think it was like the 4th or the 5th of January. So I'm like, all right, well, this is nuts. Not January, I'm sorry, February. So I'm like, all right, well, this is kind of crazy. I still can't do anything because it's not like you can go to Mexico and go kidnap somebody and bring them back to the States, because she still has the right to self-determine. She still has the right to make whatever decision that she wants. So I'm like, well, damn, I found out that you're not missing. And it still didn't sit well with me, because the woman that I was on the phone with, she didn't have very nice things to say about the boyfriend. So I'm like, all right, well, shit, I mean, we all kind of feel that way at this point because of the situation. So if you
and that's Ricardo, right? Is he older, like twice her age?
Yeah, he's like 43. Yeah, he's like 43 or some shit.
Yeah, he looks, I don't know, a little weird. I seen that picture with his tongue sticking out. The picture of him and Zailey, and his tongue was all thick. I said, okay, yeah, something, a little off. So I don't know what it is. I mean,
and even as a mom, like, do you have kids?
Not yet. No.
Well, girl, buckle up, because shit, nobody could have prepared me for what this looked like. Okay, it couldn't prepare me, my mother, my other kids. Like, nobody knew that this is something that we faced. So when I'm looking at the situation now, outside looking in, I can't believe that it was this traumatic and horrible for everybody. It wasn't just me going through this. It's like people that I know personally that are like, we already know that, you've been fighting to help her. And nobody wanted to listen. But at the same time, it's like, that's not their situation. And maybe they don't understand addiction. Maybe they just think like, oh, well, the mom is the narcissist. No, it's never been about, oh, I'm just going to make you come and stay with me. I'm never going to be that type of mama, because if you don't work, you don't eat. Okay, you have to be a productive member of society. You can't live a wild, reckless life and expect there not to be any consequences. And my other 3 children do not behave this way at all. So it's an unfortunate situation, but I ain't had shit to do with it. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm over here deleting videos. Everybody's like, well, why are you deleting videos? I have nothing to hide. However, number one, yes, it is kind of messed up to have my face everywhere, and people doing stitching and duetting and screen recording, and even taking like the picture that you have on the YouTube fingernail. That's literally painting my face of art. And then it says lie for clout. Like, I'm not lying for clout now. Old boy and my daughter, definitely. Me, absolutely not. So anyway, to kind of bring you up to speed. So she ended up making it back to California. There was a video where they were in the grocery store. I'm like, okay, well, at least I can see her and know, like, this is what's up.
Right.
Now, I already knew what club she was in when she was in Mexico. I just couldn't say anything because the problem with social media, okay, is that people are willing to, they're willing to damage active FBI cases, which it still was an active FBI case for views. Now, I'm not saying that that's what you were doing, because it's not like you threw other things out there and said, hey, you know, her dad is a pimp and a gang member. No, the hell he not. He was lucky to get me back in 2000, okay? Let's stop playing in my face and his, okay?
Right.
It was a lot of speculation that kind of went along with that. I was just like, where are you guys getting that from? You know, and then even with my content of me making jokes about, you know, getting older as a woman that's still, you know, in the hip hop community and still young and hip and vibrant and still has, you know, a sex drive. I just literally made jokes about a character named Maybelle that would mac on young dudes and offer them $40. Do I do that in my real life? Absolutely not. I got a whole boyfriend. We've been together for like 4 years. He thinks the content is funny. But I stopped making that content because it is damaging to the black community. It is damaging to the speculation of what a 40-year-old black woman is. So I stopped doing it. But once you put something on the internet, it's up and it's stuck for forever.
Right. Yep.
So, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned. It is what it is. I'm not a martyr. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that type
it's a learning process. Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. So then, not only that, when I spoke with Zailey, I spoke with her again. I recorded that phone call because at this point I have to record this phone call because you have immediately gone back to the person that seen me last. We're all looking at all the information that he provided in a really speculatory view. Who is this cat? Are you okay? So when I spoke with her on the phone, I asked her flat out. I was like, were you even missing? And she was like, no. All the wasted time, tears, resources. I'm not talking just resources of me printing FBI flyers. I'm talking resources with the FBI. I'm talking resources with police. The day that she was found on a Saturday, I had 5 groups, rescue groups, that were about to launch to go get her from Mexico. Right. And I still don't have any guaranteed proof that she was there, because they could have easily just recorded a quick video because she was going to be at that club. Who knows? But I knew it was her because she had the same pants on from September when she was out here in Vegas when I went and got her that she was in the Adelita's bar Super Bowl Sunday ad. I know my baby.
Right.
So once I had that conversation with her, I was like, well, were you missing? She says no. So I'm like, all right, well, you weren't missing. Whose idea was this? She says both of ours. Okay? So from that point when she says it's both of ours, that's when I was just like, okay, well, there's definitely legal implications that fall in suit with this. Because, number one, I have to honor the law. I'm a whole notary public, okay, and a wedding officiant. That's not something that I take lightly. That's an oath that you have to take. I'm not one of them people that, you know, break the law. I'm not even going to glorify that, because that's another thing that's wrong with the culture. If you're out here breaking the law, I don't care whose womb you came from. Somebody's going to press charges against you, period, point blank. I don't care if you came from my womb, if you came from old girl womb, you can't be breaking the law. So, and some people don't respect the law. I do.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is, because if we get into some trouble, we expect the law to come and help us. So why wouldn't we report it to prevent it from happening to somebody else, right? So after she admits that it was something that they came up with together, she also said that when they got to Mexico finally, she left him. She just hit a corner. I don't know how true that is. So from the point where the last time that I had, you know, an actual conversation with Zailey, I spoke with her on the 13th of February. She called me over the phone. Typical Zailey stuff that she had been doing before. So yes, we had an estranged, dysfunctional relationship between her and I. Of course, because that's what happens when somebody is on drugs. I don't do drugs. I barely even drink, for crying out loud. I might drink once a quarter, and I'm talking like 1 or 2 drinks.
Right.
Because I'm not no young spring chicken. I don't got 2 days to recover. So
right.
I just don't. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm talking to her on the phone, and she tells me that she's going to end her life. Now, this is not the first time that she said this. As a matter of fact, that's what she said to me on the phone on the 12th of January. And she's been saying this to me since she graduated from high school. So I'm like, okay, well, you're out here, and, you know, you're out there in California with old boy. You've already admitted in front of him that it was a scam. I don't know him at all, but he has a violent record. He has a violent past. So if he has a violent past, and there's an ex that came out that said that he was abusive to her, okay, all of these things are tying up for me. I still can't get to you in California because, number one, you went back to the dude. Number two, it was a scam. Number three, I can't take time off from work, right? So I'm sitting there taking all the information in like, okay, so the only thing that I can do is I can call and have the police do a well check. Now, on the 13th, this was probably between 8, 9 o'clock at night, okay? Again, police department is closed. LVPD, they're closed at night, okay? So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Same thing with Los Angeles Southeast. They're closed. This is the world that we really live in. So this fairy tale, you know, TV show shit where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to call the cops and they're going to be available and they're going to jump on it right then and there. Get it out your mind. That's not how none of that works. So I called the police the next day. I got to work because I got to clock in. I get to work. I go on my first break. I called them. I'm like, hey, I need you guys to go do a well check at this address because Ricardo kept providing me with his address to paint an alibi, okay? I called the police to come out. Now, mind you, I knew Zailey had a warrant. I knew she had an active warrant at that point in time. It was for petty theft, but that's not the point. The point is that if this guy is taking advantage of you mentally, like it looks to me and everybody else because of the age difference, the drug use, so on and so forth. Right. And if that's the case, I feel like we should probably have somebody go check on you to make sure that you're there.
Exactly.
Well, you'll be in there for a day or so. But again, Zailey has been homeless for the last 3-4 years, so this isn't going to hurt her at all. If anything, it's going to give you an opportunity to call me and tell me that you're okay. She calls me over the phone while she was incarcerated. She's literally like, hey, Mom, like everything was fine. Yeah. So I told her, I was like, you know, there are legal implications that come along with you staging a false missing persons report. That's 6 months in prison or a $2,000 to $10,000 fine for both of y'all. Right. So her tone changed at that point because I'm going to hold my daughter accountable. Hell, my kids hold me accountable. What do you think this is? That's part of being a human. So we hang up. That was the end of the conversation. Valentine's Day rolls around. Valentine's Day is the day that I called. So, mind you, this was about at 11:30 when I called, and the police, they were on the phone with me when they were knocking on the door because they got the phone number to them from me so they can call. They opened the door. Now, why would you open the door? If you really, really know that you're not doing anything wrong, you would open this door in such a bold way to stare authorities right in the face and be like, look, it ain't like you could do nothing. She's 21. It has never been about you stay the night at your family member's house too long. It's time to come home. It has never been that. It's literally the rigmarole that she pulls people through. Now, if you're over there and you're telling me that this is a scam and you're telling me that you're going to end your life, I need somebody that can get to you right now to check and verify. So I'm on the phone with the police officers while they're, running her information. I explained the situation, how it was like viral all over social media. The news stations had picked it up across the nation. Like, you might want to go ahead and check this situation out. She's got mental health issues and there's drug use. So they call her name out. They're like, can you stand up for me? Next thing you know, they put her in handcuffs. Now, this is where the situation, I have to take my hands off the wheel. Right. She goes to jail for 24 hours, gets right back out. And oh boy, at that point, he goes live, right? The same day, let me just stay on that day. He goes live an hour after Zailey was arrested. Wow. People are asking him, hey, how's Zailey? How's Zailey? Now, mind you, these are people that are checking on her for me. Okay? That he thinks that he has fans, and it's very delusional. It's the weirdest situation because people have addictions to everything, including social media. So he's like, oh, Zailey's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. You know, she's doing the best she's ever been. Da, 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 da. An hour after, so here's where you got to start paying attention. The next day, he goes to his Facebook. This is the 15th or the 14th of January. He posts on, or the 15th rather, he posts on his Facebook that I'm this type of mother. I'm this. I don't have any integrity, no ethics, like all kinds of just random shit that he Googled apparently. And then he says that the police kicked in the door and tased him. I don't care what anybody has to say about me for real, because I know that I'm a good mom. I know that I'm a good person. I know I'm working on becoming a better person. My problem is that he said that he got tased. Now, if you truly got tased at 40-something years old, maybe 50, who knows, how do you go on Instagram Live an hour later, perfectly fine, like nothing ever happened? One.
Yeah, that'll make sense. So he's blaming that on you?
Exactly. But then how were you tased and you went live? But he never mentioned that Zailey went to jail that day while he was on the live. But he's given updates like, you know, like there's going to be some type of monetary gain. Right. So I'm like, all right, fine, it is what it is. I'm not tripping on it. Like, you going to say what you want to say regardless, but she going to sit down real quick and, you know, get sober. Maybe we'll revisit it. So when she gets out of jail, she goes right back to him. So we end up having a brief conversation shortly thereafter where I had had enough because Zailey had called me. She was saying that she was going to hurt herself again. I'm like, here we go again. It was like every 2 to 3 days. I'm like, bro, I can't. I'm over here dealing with my own health issues. Like, I don't have time to be dealing with that. Like, so she's telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And so I told her, you need to leave. Ricardo, he starts calling me all out my name. Zailey decides that she wants to snap finally. And she's like, don't talk to my mom like that. Da, da, da. She was like, well, fine, I'll leave. So I tell her, I'm like, hey, I'll have your plane ticket ready. All you got to do is get to the airport. Mind you, again, I'm frantically moving. She don't have no ID. She only has a copy of her ID. And it's been like that for about 3 to 4 years. So I'm like, okay, fine. So finally she calls me back and she's like, okay, well, I'm just going to stay. So at that point, I'm like, look, I don't got no problem with, you know, old boy. I don't got no problem with you. I really just want you to get clean. I really want you to focus on your mental health. That's only the real issue here. You know, so I tried to play nice as much as I could because I needed to maintain my own mental sanity because at this point, I'm literally trying to lose my own. So from there, I let the situation go. And lo and behold, I keep having people sending me all these screenshots that he's posting of a conversation, lying, saying that I'm unsending messages, which, you know, when you unsend a message, you can see that you unsent the message. I've never unsent a message. So I had finally had enough. I had made a Facebook group and I dropped every single screenshot, every single recorded phone call, every single thing that we found. It even put me in a position to where I was moving kind of recklessly, you know? I was really upset because I'm like, at this point, leave me alone because I'm not bothering with y'all. I hadn't been bothering and I never even knew who old boy was in the first place to even start, you know, dealing with him. So he had, you know, people were saying like, well, he's saying that you're stalking and harassing them. No, if you call me and tell me that you're going to harm yourself, I'm going to do what you're supposed to do, which is call the authorities, call the professionals. I can't fix that. I'm not nowhere near you. And realistically speaking, even in town, when somebody is, you know, would it behoove you to go and check for yourself? Because what if it turns into I have things I need to do, you know, selfishly enough, but I feel like everybody needs to be selfish in that regard. So from that point, you know, I left the situation alone. I posted what I needed to post. And then it's a pattern with this guy. So he'll go real quiet, probably because he's either under the influence or he's sleeping from, you know, being under the influence. Maybe he's sick, who knows, right? So literally go radio silent, and then he'll post something crazy. He has so far posted 2 videos of Zailey having a mental crisis on Instagram. The first one, it was mild. She shaved all of her hair off of her head, which is not normal for Zailey to do because Zailey has always loved her curls. Always. She shaved all of her hair off. She had paint all over her face. And what's so damn ironic about the entire situation is that the picture that's on your thumbnail of me, I'm not in psychosis. That's just me as a creative. Okay? The paint on my face is white. The paint on her face is black.
No, what? Like she just put black paint on her face?
He couldn't wait to put a camera in her face.
And her hair was shaved. That's crazy.
Bald.
He recorded it and put it on IG. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
That's when I snapped and I posted everything in the group and said, fuck it. It's up and it's stuck. I can't do nothing about this situation. God, you can have this. Because at this point, I'm embarrassed of myself by arguing with a fool. I have people that are, they're looking at me like I'm part of the problem, and I'm really not, outside of me being her mother. That girl had got so much love and hugs and attention, whether it be negative or positive. Okay, this is part of parenting. They're going to do stuff that you don't like when they're little. They're going to get in trouble. It happens, right? Yeah. But that was the moment where I was just like, I'm done. I'm done doing this. I'm going to post it and leave. Even to the degree where my chest started hurting. Okay, my chest started hurting. Now, I'm 40 years old. I may keep up with these young folks a little bit on social media from time to time, but I am not young to continue to deal with this type of stress and heartache. And it seemed like every time he posted something, people started sending it to me. So that's why I went radio silent on social media. But the shenanigans don't stop there. The shenanigans definitely don't stop there. He posted yet again another video on Instagram of herself.
No, he should be locked up. That's not right. What in the world?
So when he posted the first, now listen, when he posted the first video, okay, of the paint on her face, I did the best thing that I could do as a mother, as a human, because we're all mandated reporters. That's what people don't understand. Everybody's sitting here running their mouths and casting their opinions and all this other goofy stuff. You have to remember that you are also a mandated reporter. So if you see something, you're responsible to report it. Just like if you see a little kid, the parents not feeding them or clothing them, or you're a mandated reporter. You need to report that to the proper authorities. So I did what I was supposed to do as a mother first, and I called and I had the medical team go out and survey the situation, because I can't get there to see for myself if she's okay or not.
Right.
So they went and picked her up. They kept her, I think it was like for 24 to 48 hours. Now, she was supposed to be kept on a 72-hour hold, but she ended up passing the psych evaluation, which, hey, it is what it is. I love to see it, okay, if that's what it is for him. But the problem is that he got upset because he couldn't go see her because he didn't have ID. He also put himself down as her husband on her medical records. Sir, we all know that you are not that, because you haven't had ID since you got pulled over on Instagram Live after you said that you were going to go to Tijuana with a fentanyl water gun and shoot all the people, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we knew you didn't have no ID then. So when did you all of a sudden get ID in between then and now to go and marry her? Because you have to have ID to get married, no?
Right.
So he put himself on there.
He was a husband.
He did. And the reason why he was pissed off is because I had called to check on her, and I told them to take him off of any communication so she can have time to recover from whatever drugs that she's on. No, you don't need to come up here and see her causing all kinds of confusion. He went off on the medical team. Oh, well, he was driving on, it's still on his Instagram Live, driving around all crazy, foam falling everywhere. He looking like he having a whole meltdown and all kinds of, not my problem, not my concern. Now, if you notice that you don't ever see none of his family pop out and be like, hey, you doing too much, or, this is crazy. Nobody ever says anything. These are new people that just found out about him in the situation. If you also go in his comments, he'll delete whatever you say and block you. So all of the comments appear like he has support in the situation. And if you dig further back on his Facebook and Instagram, he said that his son has cancer. Now he's saying that he has cancer. He said that his ex she needed a kidney replacement or a liver replacement or something, set up a GoFundMe. Now, let's talk about the GoFundMe, because I'm tired of people trying to play in my face like I'm not a whole business professional, okay? That's a negative look on me, okay? I literally work in corporate America. I have worked in the financial institutions for years. I've worked for Wells Fargo, Chase, Sprint, you name it, okay? My backing is financial, okay? So when it comes down to this whole, let's shade the mom and say that she's a criminal, absolutely not, under no circumstances. Now, I have had a few GoFundMe accounts. And I am fully aware that there's some scamming people out there, but I am not sheep, okay? I had a GoFundMe set up for my father that passed away in June, okay?
I'm sorry to hear that.
And then that was one of them where people was acting funny. They found it posted somewhere. They were like, oh, my God, she's a scammer. Bruh, like, if you don't do proper burial planning, it's going to happen like that. So while you're running your mouth, it might just be you. Stupid.
Man, that's real.
This is my whole dad. Like, is this what we're doing right now? Like, why? So then from there, I had another GoFundMe account that I set up a couple years ago. Nobody ever donated to it, but it was literally because I wanted to get financial help because I couldn't find an angel investor to help me with the business ideas that I have. I have 4 daughters that are self-taught artists. I'm an artist. It's going to take the money that I don't have, okay? I don't make $200,000 a damn year. So the money got to come from somewhere. While I'm educating myself on how business planning works, applying for business loans, but in the meantime, this is an option, right? So I never used that one again, couldn't log back into it, left it alone. Because I'm notorious for just like, fuck it, I can't log in, I'm going to leave it alone. That's that 40-year-old kicking in, right? So from there, the next one that I had set up, my best friend of 36 years, he's dying of stage 4 cancer. He's been dying of stage 4 cancer this entire time while everybody is shaming me for Phil. And that's what that GoFundMe is for, because he's literally like, he can't even walk, bro. Like, he can't walk. Like, he had to get like 8 to 10 inches of meat and bone removed from his leg, and he's only 40 years old.
And this is your dad you're talking about, right?
No, this is my best friend. So this is the third
best friend.
Right. So I have my own GoFundMe. I set up a GoFundMe for him, absolutely, because the medical shit that he's got to experience, which far exceeds, his situation far exceeds anything that I'm experiencing, because he got to wake up every day knowing that he's really, really dying right now, like actively dying. But,
I'm so sorry to hear that. Right? That's crazy.
And of 36 years, this is like verifiable, like my best friend since I was 4 years old. And people are doing that. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Like, it is what it is. So then from there, the GoFundMe that everybody has a problem with, the one that I created, I didn't even create it for Zailey. I had it was a replacement of the first one that I lost the log into, okay? So while I'm in the comments, okay, arguing with people, trying to get as much information, because once you put something on TikTok, like, you can't find the information in the comments or in your messenger. It's like, it's a shit show. So I'm frantic trying to, like, respond to people, and then everybody's like, put your Cash App, put your Cash App. I'm like, I don't really want to put my Cash App. Like, that just don't feel right. And I don't like asking nobody for, I actually work with a lot of people in life that if I needed the $500, I could have gotten that from them in 2.5 seconds. So that wasn't the case. The problem was that we got notified from the FBI that it was a scam when they provided us with the proof of life, okay? So it wasn't even that. It's more or less like, why would I scam somebody? So when it comes down to what the GoFundMe was set for, it was literally set for her mental health and getting some type of doctor. What kind of insurance do you have? Because, girl, I don't know what kind of insurance that you have, because you've been outside gallivanting in the streets. And the last time you were here in September, I was trying to get you some insurance out here in Las Vegas, but you didn't want that. She literally told me to my face that she couldn't get insurance in Nevada because she had it in California. There's emergency situations where that doesn't apply. If you move, you move. You got to have insurance somehow, especially if you're having, mental issues or even physical, right? So when I set up the GoFundMe, I literally went in and I edited everything that was on the description of the GoFundMe. I didn't change the amount because I was moving too fast. However, if I needed to transport her from Mexico to Vegas, or even from here to Vegas, again, I don't know how much any of this is going to cost. On top of the medical expenses, I feel like $50,000 is definitely an undershot. I really, honestly, if we're being honest about that. But either way it goes, it didn't make a difference if it was $1 I was asking for, because all of these scam individuals that run around here just setting up GoFundMes and lying, they ruin it for people that actually need help. And truth be told, I didn't need the help. Okay? And let me clarify what that means. I didn't need the help because look where we are. Look where we are today. So once I was notified that she was okay and she didn't want to come back to the United States, I issued a refund immediately. Because if it was a scam, if I had something to do with it, We have to use our critical thinking. Wouldn't I have kept the money?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't have, returned. I definitely could respect that. Returning everyone their money, yeah.
Because there's no, number one, there's no need for the money if she's telling me that she doesn't need any medical help, or she never outright says, like, I don't want any help. She just says, what kind of help? How can you help? Well, I'm giving you these options. I've been giving you these options for years. This isn't, I'm telling you, like, I don't want to pull all her information out there like that. But again, when people hear the story for what it is and they have all the moving parts to it, you'll understand it better if you've actually dealt with it before. Now, this is that new age, okay? When I was growing up, weren't doing this type of thing. They might steal your DVDs, they might steal your VCR, they might even steal your car. But they're not going to go these extra, steps to try to get money, okay? Now, as far as it goes for where I stand right now with Zailey, anything that I do with Zailey moving forward is definitely going to be private, just to keep my own sanity. But I have a future of my own. Just because you're a parent does not mean that you lose your identity completely. And if you do, you become extremely resentful because you can no longer live for yourself. And I had to find that out for myself. I was living my life for my kids. I was living vicariously through them up until the point where they were like 16, 17 years old, because I was a child when I had them. So if anybody can learn something from this, hey, maybe you might want to be financially responsible. You might want to make sure that you're not out here being irresponsible with your lady parts, because this is kind of what happens with that, okay? Also, just to kind of clarify, there was a couple of lies that were thrown out there about her dad, okay? I kind of covered that earlier. He is not a pimp, nor has he ever been a pimp a day in his life, okay? That's the same thing when people put stupid stuff on their social media, which he doesn't even really use their social media from what I understand, because I don't talk to the dude, okay?
Right.
But he's not a pimp, and he definitely is not part of the cartel. Just because your last name is Flores and you live in Mexico does not mean that you were part of the cartel, okay? And it's highly
Was the cartel involved at all?
No, girl, it was a scam. There was no.
Right.
No.
So that was made up too. Wow.
Yes. So
that was
let's
crazy.
be serious. Who really believes that the cartel's gonna ask for $500? A fucking cartel? $500? That's insulting to them. If I was a cartel, I'd be pissed off too. Like, wow, that's crazy. You just gonna put that on my name like that? Like, I wouldn't ask for more. And it also kind of like, while everybody was outside lying and making it worse, she could have been in Mexico somewhere, right?
Right.
But if the cartel would have got eyes on her while she outside just skipping and picking up Daisy, enjoying her best life, real cynical, okay? The cartel, if they really was about that action, and if they would have gotten wind, not if they really had action, because let's not even talk light, about who the cartel really can be, right? From what I understand, I don't fucking know. I'm a foundational Black American. I don't know nothing about that. But from what I see, they would have taken her as a target, like, oh, they got eyes on you. Somebody's gonna pony up the dough. So I'm glad that it did come to an end, because what if that was alternative while everybody was just like saying all this extra stuff? And, it even got to the point to where one of these podcasters said that me and her dad, he was my pimp and she was a trap baby. I said, what? I was married to this fool. What are you talking about?
Wow. That's the clout chasing right there.
You see what I'm saying? So there's some people that I'm willing to have a conversation with, and there's some people where I'm like, your whole audience is based off of people that are morons that believe it. Yeah. And the whole time, like, these podcasters are like, oh, I called the play. I told you, I know everything. No, you don't know shit. You know what you think that you know.
Right.
You have no idea. You're cherry picking up the sky, trying to apply something and hoping that it sticks. Just because I'm comfortable with my sexuality and I used to make content based off of cringy things. It was still funny, but still, right? That doesn't mean that I'm out here selling my body. I never sold my body a day in my life.
Right.
Never. So the whole time, all of this took place because my daughter is struggling from it, and she's with someone that is enabling the behavior. So there's definitely some healing that has to take place. But to be quite honest with you, my entire family has been healing since before, this whole situation. So we're not some crazy dysfunctional family that don't love her. She don't live with a multitude of people. She could pick up the phone and call whoever she needs to call at any point in time. She's just choosing not to. And if she doesn't call now, it's probably because of the fact that she's embarrassed or angry. Which, whatever emotion she has or anybody has, they're validated to have those emotions at that time. But just make sure that if you're going to be loud about somebody else's situation, make sure you're loud and correct. Because it don't make no sense. Like, I'm literally fighting for my life. Like I'm fighting for my life. Like, what are we doing? All of distractions. Having an addiction, and then nobody is everybody has had their run. It's no longer trending. Thank God. I hope this don't kick up no spice. I really, really hope it don't. I don't want to deal with it.
Right. I feel you.
And just a suggestion for anybody that listens to this shit, like when we're making, because I used to be a low-key content creator, okay? That's why I stopped doing it, because it was too much for me. I was just like, this is just not who I am for real. Like, I'm a lover. It looked like I'm a fighter. I fight if I have to, but I'm genuinely just like a loving type of person. I thrive in love. So that's why I'm more comfortable at it. So I understand the amount of work that comes into, content creating, editing, like all the things. It's so many moving parts to it. And I had just got started. So I couldn't imagine, where all these other people are that have like these audiences that are packed with thousands of people that are waiting on the newest piece. When we're sitting here passing judgment, the biggest question that we need to be asking is, do you have a question that you're struggling with? Tilt head to the side. If you do, are you actually dealing with it while you're passing judgment? How is your relationship with your mother? If she's living, were you able to forgive her, or was she able to forgive you before she left this place? Or do you think you might want to log off the internet for a little bit and start working on that relationship with your own mother?
Right.
She wouldn't stop. She kept posting and saying I was a scammer. And finally, I just had enough. I was like, all right, well, you think that somebody is, trying to exploit the situation, because her problem was that I wasn't deleting the TikTok account. She was upset because I had 20,000 followers. Girls, I've been there, done that. I can care less about this. My dog.
Right.
So she kept lying and saying that, she was like, well, if Zailey was found, why aren't you loving on her? Whole time, I start paying attention to her, and she going live all day, and her baby in the background crying, and she asking if the child is wet. Why don't you get off the TikTok and go potty train that child? First off, I'm old school. Second of all, I decided to continue to go through her content, and sure enough, I found a video where she basically was putting her own personal business out there about her own mother. So what did I do? I stitched it. This is why you have such a problem with me loving on my daughter, is because you didn't get the love that you needed from your own mother, so you want to try to get views. So when I continued to go with her comments and do what she was doing about me and my situation, that's when she wanted to back up. Keep backing up. At one point in time, she was like, I don't even know your daughter. If you don't know her, why you got her name in her mouth? I even when she went live, I requested to go up in the box. Coward, she didn't want me to go up in the box. Don't talk about my child if you don't want me to come through like her mama. And don't talk about me if you think I'm not going to defend myself. Now let's talk about you and your mama. Period. And then at that point, that's when I was like, see, all's fair in love and war. So we just have to be more diligent. And you are 100% right. You can't just be giving money to nobody, because I'm like that too. I'm not giving you my money. And unless I know that this is an actual situation that requires my financial anything, I'm not about to do that.
Right.
So, I appreciate you trying to cover the story, but we're not crazy. Okay, this family over here, we a little nuts, but we're not crazy. Okay.
I think I reached out to you, but I'm not sure. It was a lot going on. I know you was on the news, and then I did see you had an interview with, I think his name was from the NC Beat. I don't think that one went as well. He was very insensitive. And to be honest with you, in his own defense for what he does, I wasn't very friendly. But you can't expect someone to be friendly that's currently living in trauma. And I literally just got shamed for filth on another show. So it's like, y'all are supposed to be helping the community. You guys are not helping our people at all with this content, even to the degree where I'm learning about Shanquilla Robinson's case and this other young woman that's been missing for over a year. And it's like 3 or 4 podcasters that are beefing with each other about content. And I'm like, how are we even beefing about people's content and facts? And these people are either missing or dead. Yeah.
That's where it's very, 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 very jaded and very, very hurtful. And there's one particular podcaster, that's his niche, is to shame mothers. I actually had to, remove myself from the situation, gather my own bearings, and make sure that I knew that it was never about me in the first place. It was content for these people that reached out to me. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. He literally has shamed like 3 to 4 mothers to the degree where he's got lawsuits coming at him. This is what the culture really is about. This is what the culture is about. And I'm not above suing nobody. However, I don't really care that much at this point, right this second, because there's so many people I would have to sue. And fair use does not cover false information. That's how people end up getting sued on YouTube. And I've been asking, like, hey, take it down. People don't want to take it down. And I'm reaching out to people just as respectfully as I can, just like I did with you. Like, hey, some of this information, it ain't right. Your opinion is your opinion. That's where fair use is covered. But when it comes to wrong information and you still keep it up, that's when you're going to get sued. So you have an audience. What you got to do for you. I wish you nothing but the greatness. I don't know how you're doing this because I could not wrap my brain around nobody else's situation like this to watch other people behave like that. Like, I look at social media completely different now, and I gotta respect it because that's people's hustle. That's really where the hustle is, because like people are getting paid off of these views to shame people and not know all of the facts. And then when someone does come out to say, hey, this is what's going on, at one point do people remove the content when they realize that it's damaging? Because it was damaging the FBI case, not your particular yours, but there was a lot. It was a lot. And nobody was coming in the comments with facts. Nobody.
And that's why I'm glad we have this conversation now, because I'm going to definitely remove those videos. I'm going to update, my audience, because I never want to, make somebody look a certain way or damage anybody's reputation. I'd have been through it on social media myself. I done learned as a content creator, it can go too far. When that happens, you got to just step back and just remove the content just so you can just start over. You know what I mean? It happened to me before. And so I learned from that. And so I'm just happy that you was able to, reach out to me and we had this conversation. I enjoyed talking to you. So thank you so much for your time. And we both on our lunch breaks. I know that. So got to go back in a minute.
I'll get back to the bag. You have a good day.
Right. Get back to the money.
All right now. Bye-bye.
You have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too.
Take care.